It's Bournemouth against Tottenham. Bournemouth winless in 11 with Tottenham next. Of course, Thomas ran under a little bit of pressure. I think it's fair to say Tottenham need a result. Of course, Bournemouth do it at home as well. Bournemouth decently good side at home. They play well, but it's again about transferring those performances into results. And Bournemouth often wasteful, don't take their chances. Be interesting to see how this game goes. Stay tuned to the very end. I'll be giving everything from my thoughts out of the game, team news, predicted lineup, preferable lineup, combined 11, thoughts on Bournemouth. You named it. Stay tuned.
You came along just like a song, and brightened my day. Who'd have believed that you were part of the dream? Now it all seems like years away. You know I can't smile without you. I can't smile without you. I can't laugh, I can't sing. I'm finding it hard to do anything, and I feel sad when you're sad. I feel glad when you're glad. If you only knew what I'm going through, I just can't smile without you.
If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. So firstly, my thoughts ahead of this game, that it could be difficult, could be a really difficult week for Thomas Frank, Bournemouth away and Villa in the Cup. If we go out of another Cup competition and we lose again in the Premier League, let's just say it's an uncomfortable conversation. It gives Tottenham fans a lot more reassurance that this game is away from home, because Tottenham have been better on the road, but Bournemouth, look good at vitality, spirited performance against Arsenal, another spirited performance, just a few days before that against Chelsea. Yes, winless in 11, and they are without, key players, absolutely, but this, is a game that they'll back themselves in because they're attacking talent. And Areola said before the game he thinks it'll be Semenya's last game. So unfortunately for Tottenham and Tottenham fans, that is not what we want to hear. But Bournemouth this year, I think they are where they should be. Based on it's always going to be, a stable. Well, it's always going to be a season this season about stability for Bournemouth after losing key players. Hold their back line really. Sabani, Dean Houston, Kirkes, Neto in goal. They lost a whole of their back line. They also lost, Tara in attack. Top players they lost. And when they get the likes of Cliver injured, the attacking players or good players have left, and they really do feel that. I think Evan Nilsson's a confidence issue for him going forward. I think he struggled a little bit. D'Carte defensively at fault for a lot of things against Brentford. Again, maybe a confidence issue with him, lacking that at the moment. But Bournemouth are a still good side. They've got Areola, who's a really good manager. And January's a key month this month for Bournemouth to bring in the right players. I don't think they'll get dragged into relegation scrap if they're not careful. Of course, Leeds United picking up points. West Ham and Forest going, of course, head-to-head at the time of recording. Don't know the result. But again, someone's going to have to pick up points. Some will gain, some will lose from that. So Bournemouth have got to look over their shoulders. And Tottenham, Bournemouth both haven't been good enough. But this game should be interesting. On screen is the lineup that I would go with. So talk you through it. Well, I'm going to read it out and talk you through it. Vicario in goal, Porro right back, Spence left back, Van der Ven and Romero as the centre backs. I'd go with Bensko and Paulinho for stability in midfield. Xavi back in the side from suspension in the Tell. Odegaard right wing, Tell left wing, Richarlison up. So the back line for me picks itself. Of course, Frank going with Davis in the last game. I'd go with Spence in this one because Spence drives the team forward. Right now, we desperately need some form of progressive passes, ball carrying. We need anything like that, especially with Kudus at the team. And in terms of team news, Kudus is out, and there's reports coming from Mike McGrath, the Daily Telegraph. It could be out for 2 to 3. Well, they say 2 to 3 months. Hopefully that is not the case. Several games is the way he worded it. Games that miss. That'd be a huge shame. But hopefully, Tottenham do something in the transfer window. We need to bring in a winger anyway. Never replace Son. We let 3 left wingers go in the summer, and we didn't replace. So, desperately, need reinforcements in attacking positions because we're playing players out of position that A aren't good enough and B aren't good enough in that position. Definitely. And that's a real issue in my view at the moment. So that's the team news with that. But Xavi Simons is back in the team. He's okay. Lucas Bergwijn's again okay. So yeah, I'd go Paulinho and Ben score midfield. I like Gray. I just don't want it overloading. He's played a lot of games recently. So I think play Paulinho and mix it up. Nothing against Gray. I think Gray bring him on later. His ball carrying skills could be key as Bournemouth tire, and hopefully as just even our players tire, that's fine. They come off and Gray comes on, that makes sense. But yeah, don't want to start him too many games and overload him at such a young age. And he's doing okay, nothing special, but doing okay at the moment. So I think just change it up in midfield, rotate more than anything, not drop him. Xavi coming back in that 10. Players need rest. We're lacking quality. Bring him in and play him in his best position. Talent on the left-hand side, I thought he was really bright and positive in the last game. Thought showed some really good signs that first half against Sunderland. They did collapse, though, of course, in the second half. A lesson from this, if we're lucky enough to go 1-0 up, do we push the second goal? Of course, I think we do, in my opinion, because especially if we go with what I say with Paulinho and Bentancur, you've got, the full defenders back, including the full backs, and Paulinho and Bentancur sitting in front. They've got enough protection there to just be a bit braver, or say to one of the midfielders, one goes, one stays, and work together. The only thing is Paulinho and Bentancur, because they do a similar job, sometimes get each other's way, but I think they can make it work. Talent on the left-hand side, looking forward to seeing him there. I think he's also effective in the 10. Odegaard can play right wing. He's done it for Burnley. I think, again, limited for options there. And Richarlison up top, I would go with over Kyle Nwani. I'd be tempted to end Kyle Nwani's loan. I think he's done okay, but clearly not right for winger positions. You have to play him as a striker or just terminate the loan, in my view. From my team to Thomas Franks, I think there'll be 2 changes. I think he will go Davies again at left back purely because he's left-footed. I think Frank has realised it's the right thing to do. I think he likes Spence. I don't think he'll play Davies every week, but because the dog is close to coming back. And I think he will play Spence again at left back, but Davies is naturally left-footed, and I don't think he'll play the whole game though if he does start. No starts, all of a sudden 2 in quick concessions is a lot. I do think Brandt will go with Gray again. We've seen it with Porro, and it was the same under Ange. A lot of games with the likes of Pedro Porro, and Gray's kind of that player. I mean, Porro's played a lot as well this year, but Gray's the player that is being relied on at this moment in time. So I think Frank will make those 2 changes there. So if I had to predict Thomas Frank again, I think that's the identical team, close to identical team against Sunderland, apart from Xavi Simons coming in from Hamid Kudus, who is injured. If we move on to combined 11, because I always do combined 11 out of fit players and then everyone available to make it fair. Here's my combined 11 out of everyone everyone that's just fit. Not everyone. It's the wrong way of phrasing it. Just fit players. So for both teams, Vicario in goal, Porro right back, Spence left back, Van der Ven and Romero as the centre backs. I'll go with Scott and Bentancur in midfield. Brooks right wing, Semenya left wing. Of course, Bournemouth dominating those wings. Tavernier as a 10 and Richarlison up top. So Vic in goal for me just about over Petrovic. I think he's a little bit more, I don't want to say Vicario's consistent, but I think he has a little bit more to his game in terms of shot stopping. Power at right back, I think I'm pretty confident about that one. Trothair was close to getting in at left back. I do like Jed Spence. I think he's actually okay at left back Spence. Of course, it's a problem. He's not naturally suited to that side. Trothair for me gets caught out of position too much. Do like him. Tough decision. Bournemouth fans, well, I think would disagree with me on this one. I will go with the Spurs said about partnership Romero and Van der Ven. I think Bournemouth's defence they've lost because it looked so good previously. Of course, now the defence they've got doesn't look as good. It probably is better than it looks just because Bournemouth were good defensively last year, but still Romero, Van der Ven for me getting there. Both class. Alex Scott really like. I think he's equivalent to what we've got in Archie Gray. I think he's really good, really bright, great player. And Bentancur's been better, kind of galvanised player in recent weeks. David Brooks performing really well after, of course, he had cancer, etc. Great seeing Firstly back on the football pitch. I think he's having a good season. Didn't think he'd get back to his best, and he's proving a lot of people wrong. So really good to see for him, and I continue to wish him the best. Semenya last game, it appears for Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth are playing a bit of a clever game. I think they've got Man City on the hook at the moment, forcing them for more money. I think they end up paying quite a lot for Semenya, more than they were originally planned or would like. So Bournemouth are in the right position at the moment, and I think of course Semenya no doubt gets in this team. Tavernier in the 10 as well. Xavi Simons is available for this game, but hasn't shown enough yet in a Spurs shirt. Hopefully that'll change. Tavernier's been good, 4 goals this season, looks bright, needs more end product. Richarlison over up top, more end product and better statistics than Evan Nilsson. I do prefer Evan Nilsson though, as a whole. And lastly, before I get to score prediction, combined 11 with everyone available. So I'll talk you through my changes only in this one. So Tyler Adams coming in for Bournemouth. He's been a big miss for the Cherries, and Iriola, in my honest view, I think he's a great player for the US, and also was Leeds United now, of course. Bournemouth, Decky and Maddison coming in for Tottenham, 2 players that massively missed. Kulu's versatility can play the role. Maddison as well, I think, is fantastic. And of course, Tavernier and Brooks do make way for that. And Dominic Solanke, just a Spurs striker. For a Spurs striker, going with over Richarlison. Cherries fans would love to have him back. I do like Solanke. I think he hasn't been able to prove himself. I think he's been a workhorse when he has been fit, which has been rare. But he needs more end product. And I think in Frank's system, he's perfect with a lot of balls, hopefully going in the box, rather than progressive passing. Frank prefers balls in the box. That suits Richarlison. Yes, it suits Solanke even more. So in this one, in terms of Bournemouth representation, try and be as fair as possible. I probably slightly harsh on Bournemouth, but I have managed to get 3 Bournemouth players in there. And in the team before I got, did I get 5 or did I get 4? No, I think I got 4 Bournemouth players. So 4 Bournemouth players in this one and just 3 in this one. But that's how I feel. I feel like Bournemouth last season, majority of their team were in there. Score prediction then needs to be difficult. I don't like to be too negative. I can never predict Spurs to lose, but I am worried about this game. I'm going to go 1-1, but I have a sneaky suspicion that Bournemouth could edge it on Semenya's last game. I think it will be in the end. I think Semenyo will get the goal, and I think Xavi Simons on his return to the side will get the goal for Tottenham. So we'll say 1-1 to try and be as positive as possible. So thank you very much for watching, and massive come on you Spurs. Like, subscribe if you're new to the channel.
You came along just like a song.